Welcome to the ninth episode of my podcast, STEMnist Voices. This is your host, Trisha Singh. STEMnist Voices is a podcast that empowers women in STEM. Join me to celebrate and amplify the voices of brilliant women making waves in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Let's break the barriers, shatter the stereotypes, dive into their journeys, challenges, and triumphs, and inspire the next generation of women in STEM together. Now imagine a world where every child, no matter their zip code, grows up believing they belong in a lab, on a stage, in a boardroom, or leading groundbreaking innovation. Our guest today isn't just imagining that world, she's building it. She's a visionary, an educator, an author, a STEM champion, and a powerhouse advocate for communities often left behind. With over 20 years of experience in education, she has worn many hats: assistant principal, teacher, coach. But at her core, she's a change maker who believes in making STEM accessible, exciting, and equitable. She's the CEO and founder of Nyla Nova STEMversity and Nyla Nova Foundation, where she's rewriting the narrative for undeserved youth, one STEM story at a time. Please join me in welcoming the incredible, unstoppable STEMness leader, Miss Nakeisha Washington.
It's me. Thank you. That was such a wonderful introduction. I'm like, who did all that? That's me.
My pleasure, ma'am. Thank you so much for being here and taking our time. So, without further ado, let's get started with the questions. So, ma'am, you've had such a dynamic journey in education from being a teacher to an assistant principal to a founder. What first sparked your passion for STEM education?
It started when I was a little girl. I always loved to put things together, figure out how things worked. I always was just inquisitive and curious about the natural world. And so it just was naturally easily for me to go into science. I just always excelled at it. I loved it. I loved the awe and the wonder around it. And so um, that's why I went into, at first I was going to be an engineer, but then I switched and went over to teaching and I never looked back. So just enjoy learning.
Ma'am, I think you were a born problem solver,
I
right?
think I love
Yes,
it. I love solving problems.
I think that's interesting. Ma'am, so you have worn many hats in your career: educator, coach, author, speaker. What has been the most challenging part of your journey?
Being a mother. Motherhood, no one prepares you for that. The other stuff is because the other stuff, if you make, you can kind of have a blueprint or you can go for help. But motherhood has definitely been one of the most challenging. But I have to say, my three children have been amazing, so they've made that job easier. But what through motherhood inspired me to do a lot of things that I am doing because I see kids out there that didn't have the confidence or didn't think they could do stuff. So I took on that motherly role at school, like, you can do this. I was their champion, their cheerleader. So I would definitely say motherhood. And then next one was probably being a principal, assistant principal, because it wasn't that I wasn't just over my classroom. Now I was over the
Yeah.
school. You were over the teachers and the students, and sometimes adults can be, a little more challenging to work with than kids. So I would say definitely assistant principal. And with that opportunity, we were a turnaround school. So the school got into some difficulties with managing the day to day. And so we were hired to go in and kind of turn it around. And I would like to say that I think we did a very good job. We was in the newspaper. We
Wow.
definitely brought their scores up and we did some wonderful things. So that was probably my most challenging, but also my most rewarding ever. And then thirdly would be CEO and founder because once again, there's no blueprint. You can have an MBA, you can do all the things, but being an entrepreneur in the way that I define it is that you're creating something. It may not be new, but it's new to you. and there's not a lot of blueprint there, and it's something that you believe that's going to work, and then you just hoping the world agrees with you. And so that's been definitely challenging as well. Because it's like I always say it's like you're building a plane on the way down, and you're hoping you don't
Yeah,
crash before it hit the ground. And so
correct.
that's those three things have definitely been the most challenging. And then, of course, teaching, I've taught in middle school, high school, private, charter, public, alternative.
Wow.
So I've definitely did the full gamut of it. And but it's been definitely rewarding all of those roles and stuff. So
Wow, I think you've had a very diverse and a roller coaster kind of an experience, if
yes.
what I'd like to say. So I think, yeah, you've discovered a lot. You have had many experiences. So, ma'am, so since like you were young, did you always think your future would look like this? Would you think you'd be exploring so much?
Ah, well, it's so funny because when I was a little girl, I used to play school. I was the only child. Well, I had brothers, but they were in the house. So I was the only child in the house. And so I would line my teddy bears up and I would like teach them and they would write on the chalkboard. You too young to know about chalkboard, but I was writing on the chalkboard to my teddy bears and I was questioning them. So I always wanted to be a teacher. I had some great teachers that always inspired me, but then they knew I was great in science and math, so they encouraged me to go for engineering. But that
Yeah,
love of teaching still overpowered that because I felt like I didn't want to necessarily be the engineer, but I would love for my community to embrace and inspire the next future leaders of engineers. And so I did not know definitely that I would be a business owner, CEO, but I always knew I'm a little bossy. So I love to always make decisions and make things happen. And I come from a family that part of my family are all entrepreneurs. They own fish markets, radio stations, um, everything you can name it. They did it, and they own homes. They was in real estate. So my grandfather owned his own mechanic shop. And so it was just instilled to me to kind of be your own boss, making your decisions, but doing it for the community. And that's what I love
right.
about what I'm doing. I'm not just being a business owner that goes into my business and never look at the community. We're building up the community. So it just kind of like my journey that happened that way. And so I'm glad. I wouldn't change it for the world.
I think it's really inspiring that you are an entrepreneur and a businesswoman, but you're also focusing on making an impact and improving the situation of your community. I think there are very few people in the field who actually focus on making an impact. Most people just want to do business, just want to make money. So I think that's really inspiring.
You. Thank you.
Welcome. Now, so moving on to the next question. What inspired you to create Nyla Nova STEMversity, and how is this different from traditional STEM programs?
Oh, great question. So, just the name in itself, Nyla is named after my daughter. Her name is Nyla Danae, and so I wanted to create a superhero that was named after her, so that not only when she see it, that other girls, especially girls of color, would get inspired by it. And so, Nyla is actually my daughter's name, and it means winner and champion. So I was very
Wow.
intentional when I named her that. But then Nova, which is the character, is star, new beginnings, shining bright. And so we wanted all our students, whether they're girls or boys, now to realize that they have that inner strength inside of them, that they can do great things with STEM. But they use the Nyla Nova character as that character that really inspires them. And so that was one of the things, because we started off as children's book authors first with the Nyla Nova character. And then after that, all the founders was like, we need more, we need more. And I was like, why don't I do what I do in my classroom? Because I always made learning fun and exciting and challenging. We played music in the classroom, we danced. I just really wanted kids to get excited about learning. So then I decided to come up with Nyla Nova STEMversity because it's ran like a university. You have kids as young as 3 years old,
Wow.
part of it, and they call us professors. So you starting to get that terminology in them soon. We have kindergartners talking about professor. Professor is the cutest thing. but it's that getting them inspired and not waiting to college to call someone professor for the first time. And so we're breaking down those barriers and just opening up those doors and giving access. And so that's kind of how we got started with the Nyla Nova character. We started when my daughter was 2. She's now 10. So we've been doing this for 8 years. And it's amazing that some people that still don't have our book get excited over our books. And so we have 5 now going on 7. But they're getting inspired by it. And so the character stands true. She has a music video, which you were talking about earlier. And so we're just trying to make it accessible, whether it's through literacy, exploration, or discovery. And so that's Nyla Nova and Nyla Nova STEMversity.
But this is like so inspiring and so unique. I don't think so. I stay in India, right? And I don't think I've heard of anything like this happening in India. Like,
Oh,
are
well, we
your
need to
books?
come. We need to
Yeah,
come
you
and do
should.
wonderful
You
things.
guys
Maybe
should
we'll start
actually.
it up.
You guys
Yeah.
should actually come to India, and I think, do something about bringing more girls into STEM, because in India also underrepresentation is such a huge problem. So I mean, there is a gender gap in the tech industry and
Yes.
in the STEM
That's here
field.
too.
Exactly. So, but I don't think, at least in India, I've seen, such organizations or such efforts being made from a young age. And I feel like in India, when we talk about the education system, like you were talking about a more fun, explorative,
Mhm.
way, a lens of looking at STEM, right? But in India, it's more old school, like,
Yes.
is what I would say. Like, we mostly stick to the textbook, and
Mhm.
there is lab work, there are stimulations, but I feel like that happens a little later. Like, it's not a
Right.
lot to get the child interested and have
Excited.
fun into the subject. So I think that's something which needs to improve about our education system.
And then one thing, because you did mention us coming to India, we have Nyla Nova STEM Ventures, and we take kids around the world to different locations and they learn through STEM-based applications. So we did take a trip to London and Paris. We've been to South Korea and Hong Kong. We're doing the
Wow.
Costa Rica trip 2026. But hey, India, we would love to come. So we definitely got to make something happen there.
Yes, we really need to. And also, are your books available in India?
They're through Amazon, and so Amazon we do have the different locations where you can get them overseas and international. So yes, they are.
I think I'm going to, link it on one of my posts so that my followers, I think they should check
Yes,
it out,
please.
because
Yes,
your
we would
books look
love that.
really like colorful and engaging. Like, I think I would have wished to, have read one of your books when I was young. Maybe I'd be more
Exactly.
interested in STEM today. I mean, I am
Yes.
interested, but I would look at STEM from another lens.
Yes, I love that. I love that.
Ma'am, so can you tell us about what a typical day looks like for you at Nyla Nova STEMversity?
Well, one thing, there's never a typical day. So that's it. I have a wonderful staff. So we have about 20 of us. Some are virtual and some of them are actual instructors that go into the location. So some of our days look like where we're going out being brand ambassadors, talking to other people, organizations about what we do to bring in more business, bring more awareness. So some of the days I'm just on the phone, I'm in Zoom calls, or I'm meeting people face to face to say, hey, we got to start early with STEM education, STEM literacy. Like, let's get these because our programs have proven to increase literacy and math scores through STEM lens. And so it's like, hey, let's help the babies help, and so that some days we're actually in the schools where we're doing anything from aviation to marine biology, dissecting. We creating parachutes. We did balloon
Wow.
cars. We've been working at the Children's Museum. We've been doing STEM programs with families. We have our own family program that we do at night where we work with families of aged kids from 5 to 24 with their families, their grandparents. We're doing STEM education there. So there's never a typical day, but what we always do at the heart is what's best for kids. How can we build our community and how can we get the awareness out? There's been days that I've been at the State House talking to legislators of how to make certain bills fit what we're doing because by us normally being out of school time, which is like our after school programs on the weekends, they don't fund a lot of those activities, but those activities have shown to help kids um, in the classroom, help them in their careers. And so I've been advocating for, change and different things. So there's never a typical day, but what we keep it hard is making STEM education accessible for all, and we're changing the face of STEM education. So just what you said, not just textbooks, not, old people we see with their pocket protectors and like it's boring. No, we're making it exciting, we're making it help, we're making it fun. And so long as we keep that at our true essence, every day is amazing. I tell everybody, I get up every day to live out my dream, but help others live out their dreams as well. So,
So I think this is really inspiring. Like, do what you love and also create an impact, create a change in
mhm.
your community. I think I can't wait for this to happen in India. Like at this point, I really want you guys to come to India, and
Talent. Figure this out. Yes.
I want to see young girls get interested into STEM and look at STEM from a new point of view. And I think this is really this is pretty much needed for the Indian education system because it's very textbooky. And when you talk about the like I'm not talking about IBDP. I'm talking about the Indian education system, like the
Right.
Indian boards. So they
Okay.
are pretty much just related to the textbook, and there's very minimal lab work.
Oh
So
no,
yeah,
no.
I think that's not STEM.
No,
So
it has to be interactive, it has to be engaging. And like what you said earlier, I encourage kids, even if they don't go into STEM-based careers, they're problem solvers, they're critical thinkers. So we give them a challenge. We call them STEM challenges. And we tell them, this is what you have, these are the materials you have, and you have to have this thing, do this by this time. And so they get to working with each other, they get to collaborate with their friends, they're figuring stuff out. They do have what we call productive struggle, so they struggle trying to figure it out, but they're learning different perspectives. They're working with each other, talking through it. And that's what you want in a society. You want a society to
yes,
be able to work together, to figure out problems together, but bring their own perspective and experiences. And so that's what we love. And so we rarely use the textbook. We I call myself facilitator. So we facilitate the learning process, and then we say, okay, why did that work? And they're like, because of this. And then we say, yes, that's because that is this term. So normally textbooks start with this terminology. This is what you need. But we have
yes,
to work through the process and then go back and connect that terminology with the process so it sticks better. Then they understand, oh, I had to do this in order for the car to go. Oh, yeah, that's thrust or that's lift or the so those types of
yes.
things.
I think this is something which is not really spoken about, but it's really important to start STEM education at an early age so
Mhm.
that, right, so that we get more people, like girls, guys, everybody, more
Mhm.
people interested into the field, whether or not they pursue STEM careers. But I think, yeah, everybody, as you said, everybody should be a problem solver, everybody should be a critical thinker, everybody should have those qualities, which
Yeah,
may or may not be given by the education system. And hence, organizations like you, yeah, like yours, are, working to make that change. So, yeah, that's very inspiring.
yeah.
Ma'am, so what's your vision for the next 5 to 10 years for Nyla Nova STEMversity?
Well, our music video and our theme is Nyla Nova taking over. So we really
Yes,
want it to be a household name. And we really wanted to start the dialogue of like how we're teaching kids, and not like you said, not just girls, boys as well, how to embrace what they learn because we know not everyone learns the same, and so
yes,
that's okay. But it's not okay if we try to make everybody learn the same way. And so I love that what Nyla Nova stands for is like, hey, you may need more hands-on, or you need more auditory, or you need more kinesthetics, because we do a lot of with dance and playing and picking up,
Wow.
like, because some kids learn better with their body. They have to be doing something. And so it's not just sit down in a chair and, and kill their enthusiasm. We're like, get up, move around. If you need to move around and do this to make it happen, do that. So we definitely want it to be a household name. We we want to spark that dialogue of what STEM education should be for all, and how do we make it accessible and the equity about it, because we know some districts, certain countries, they really focus on it more and some don't. But we really need to think about, as we're in this 21st century with AI and robots and tech, and we just had an all women crew go, through space and come back, and some people not even believing they went to space because it was so quick, but they don't even understand space flight. It's those type of things that we need to push back on and say, hey, let's open up minds and let's understand. And so we really want Nyla Nova. So our goal is for Nyla Nova, the brand is in itself, because we have the foundation, STEMsation, STEMversity. We want it to be a global brand. We want it to be premier STEM edutainment company of the world. And so edutainment means we want to educate and entertain.
Entertain,
So
yeah.
virtual reality games, if that's a location where kids come, STEMtopia, and they're learning all about STEM in a fun atmosphere. If we're going into the schools for STEMversity, if we're taking STEM ventures around the world, that's what we want Nyla Nova to be. In the next 5 to 10 years, we want people to be like, there go Nyla Nova, and they're taking over.
I think I love your vision, and I'm pretty sure you guys will be able to achieve it because of the kind of work you're already doing. I think your Insta posts and the song, idea of the song, all of that is like really engaging. Like the rap beats, all of
Yeah.
that. I think it's like I actually listened to it like before the meeting. I was sitting and listening to the song, and I think a few days ago I also saw the video where
Mhm.
was it shot in the campus, the Nyla Nova
Yes.
campus?
So it was one of our
Oh,
community centers that we were teaching STEM for the whole summer. And so I told them I had we wanted to do the STEM video, but we wanted the kids to be in it. And they were so excited, because how often do you get to be in a music video, but also
yeah.
it's about positive stuff. It's about kids learning. And in the video, you see them running, chasing out the Nile, because they want to learn, and then they were excited about learning. And also in that video, you saw that we have a tri-tune boat. And so we have Nyla Nova STEM Aquatics. And so we take kids on the boat. And so there are some kids that's never been in the water. And so we're taking them through, because Indianapolis, where we are, we don't have a beach. We don't have like a body of water, but we have like these reservoirs, or we have like lakes. And so we take them out there and let them experience life in the water. And it's like fish, you know, swimming by them, and at first they're scared, but then they don't even realize that they're there anymore. And so it's giving those experiences. And so that's what you see in the video. That's what you see with the song. We want the song to be so catchy, where everybody's screaming Nyla Nova taking over, Nyla. Everyone's gonna know how to spell Nyla Nova. So yes, we're doing that.
I think it's really like catchy, and I think like it's really attractive, especially for like our generation, like the Gen Z generation, the
Yeah.
beats. I mean, I don't think this generation can like pay a lot of attention to a really a slow song which has like really slow beats. We need something moving
But
and
see,
catchy.
and I'm a hip hop like head, and so even when I thought about it, like 80s, 90s beats that I grew up on, like just coming, like you hear it and you just want to dance. That's what I was looking at.
Yes.
Beat producer. I said, we need something that's gonna get people excited about it. We don't want to be like, no.
Yeah.
We want something that's people like, here she come, Nyla Nova coming. Yes, yes.
And I also like how all the children were just, free to do like whatever they wanted to do in the video. Like, I don't think there's any, like, no, nobody was giving specific roles that you have to do this, you have to act like this, you have to dance like this. Everybody was just being themselves.
They
So
were.
it,
They was excited. They were dancing. They were playing basketball. They were just. It was nice. We had a good time shooting it as well.